My name is America Tang. I was born in Lima, Peru. I had 14 years of a beautiful time that I spent in that country. The original part about my life is that my parents are Chinese. They actually came from Canton, China. So my upbringing had a lot to do with the traditions of the Chinese culture. One of that is to make sure that you are good at school, that you are an excellent student, and make sure you go to college when you grow up. To them, that is the foundation of a successful life, that you need to be educated. We all went to college. So I must have to say that my parents did a good job as far as instilling on us that desire for success and to excel in life. One of the things that I love from Peru is, that culture that is a very unique one. Inside South America, I believe Peru happens to be the one with the most traditions, the most culture. The Incas is one of the largest civilizations that existed in South America, and it happens to be in Peru. So they have a lot of history that teaches you about past civilizations, and you can learn so much from it. So I was in this unique country with a pretty unique background also. Both of them complementing together, I believe gave me an edge to come out in life. Gave me knowledge that maybe under other circumstances it wouldn't have been so lucky to learn. But in my case, the fact that I was born in Peru with Chinese parents, I truly feel blessed because it automatically, if anything else, already made me a bilingual. Once I came to the United States, when I was about 19 years old, that's when I perfected my English. I think one of the key ingredients for success is the fact that I speak fluently three languages. And come to think of it, those three languages are really the three most important languages in the world. With English, Spanish, and Chinese, you pretty much cover 99% of the world probably. It's spoken so extensively around the world. And without much effort, all three languages just kind of fall in my lap, and I knew all of them automatically through birth, and also by the fact that my family eventually moved to the United States. My father was the owner of a textile company in Peru. He was doing fairly good, after many years of strong, hard sacrifices. But unfortunately, back in 1967, there was like a military coup. And then there was a sudden change of government. So a democratic country all of a sudden went into a socialist regime under General Velasco. My father, being Chinese from the era of Mao Zedong, he really came to Peru for the same reason of staying away from a communist regime. He was very much against that system. So when the country turned socialist, he thought it was time for us to move again because he did not want the family and his children to live in a country where our liberties would be cut short. When I arrived in Los Angeles, luckily my English was kind of established already. It was not as excellent as I speak it right now, but I had a very strong base because my father had the foresight of putting all five or six of us in a bilingual school back in Peru. My English was pretty good by the time I came to the United States. And so within 15 days of arriving, I found my first job, which was with an insurance company. But for every few months, I would be jumping for a much better salary. Let's put it that way. So my aim was really high, and I really wanted to start excel in a fast pace. It took me a year after I arrived for me to enroll in Cal State Los Angeles to study business. But when I went to college, I kept all my jobs. So I had literally I had three jobs during the week, and I was going to school at nighttime from 6 o'clock to 10 p.m., Monday to Thursday. Those were pretty hard years for me. I don't know why I had like this fire behind me, always pushing me, to do the best that you can. And I do realize that by thinking that way, it really gave me that motivation to keep going and keep going. I don't recall myself ever sitting back and say, okay, now I can take a rest. It's like I keep pushing myself, and as no sooner that I finish one thing, I'll be looking for something, another project to do. So, with these advantages, I said, then there's no way that I should not do something at least equal to what my father accomplished. So that is the motivation he gave me. So after I finished international business at Cal State Los Angeles, I actually, the first thing I did is I got my real estate license, and I went into real estate. Within a span of 8 years, I was able to save. So when the opportunity came of a company called Ace Fence Company, it came out for sale because the retiring owner, who was an Italian fellow, he has already owned the company for 40 years by the time he retired. When the opportunity came, then I saw that and I said, I would like to maybe look into buying this company and get out of real estate and do something like my father did. If he had a textile company, I want to also own, a large company someday. So that's what motivated me to look into this company that came out for sale. And I ultimately bought it and became the president of Ace Fence Company. The question of success comes out very often. A lot of people ask me that. I believe the success has to come from the inside out. There's no other way. It has to be that way. You're not going to find it by just searching all over. You have to have that security and that certainty inside of you. You need to have that goal set. What is it exactly that you want to do? And then when you exactly decide what you want to do, make sure you do it honestly. To me, honesty is so important. We're not here to make a buck and just leave leave a bad impression of the customer and just move on. Never. If it's not satisfied, something is still not done, I will make sure that I finish before I move on. Because what is important about stability and the growth of a business is that you need to set that reputation so people can trust you. And as the years go by, your company will grow. You don't even have to worry about it. If you do the right things and you do it honestly, you give them the right prices, you're not trying to make a killing overnight. You have to build your business gradually. Always with honesty, with integrity. And that is something my father taught me from the very beginning. There's no such thing as a quick buck. Usually life, you have to learn as you go. And you start perfecting your system as you go. But always with the right values backing that growth. Don't just do it by hurting others. Mm-hmm. Because to me, one thing that I always tell my children also, you don't have to step over other people. You don't have to take it away from others for you to have it. The world is infinite. There's so much in this world to go around. There's more than enough for every single one of us to be rich, to be prosperous, to be happy.